Hello citizens, Recoil here. How y'all doing? Ready to texture a model? And learn how shit Blender's texturing process is? So we have to go to literally some other program in order to make it properly work? Well, that's too damn bad, Void. We're gonna have to do that, because otherwise this model's not gonna look
Double
great.
rainbow?
And that's what we want.
What does it mean?
3D programming software? What the hell kind of programming are you doing where you can program in 3D? Nah, that's 3D modeling. And, nah. Here's the thing. A lot of... Honestly, yeah, it is. It's one of those things where there are specific programs designed, like Substance Painter, but that's run by Adobe, and we hate Adobe here. So, we use other methods in order to do it. In that we just eyeball everything. It's terrible. And we try to make it work. It's fine. It's fine. Also, hi Doc, hi Ku, hi Void, and how are y'all?
Baby.
Or no. Just no. Because the pirating's illegal. So, although, before we do anything, I feel like I need to make an addressment of something. So, the cat tree. I have made it so that way it is now limited. You can only save 10 cats per stream and have 1 catastrophe per stream. The reason why is because come October, we're going to start tracking how many cats everybody saves. And at the end of each month, I will give away subs to the top cat savers. You know, just so that way it's like, come in, you have a chance to redeem, or you have a chance to save 10 cats.
Baby.
Actually, having it set up so there's a cooldown on the cat saves, so you can't spam all your cat saves at the beginning of stream and then dip, I feel like might be one way to increase engagement of stream. Am I farming for engagement now? Maybe. Am I becoming what I swore to not become? Nah, I got nothing. Voiding. Just, you know, have fun drawing cats. Because I'm gonna have fun drawing faces right now. Not really. I'm coloring a face in. It's not the same. It really isn't the same. That's fair. Dude, you do what you gotta do. Lurk. It's an art stream. For lurk, you can lurk today. There's nothing really happening. Okay, so let's talk about where we are right now with this model. Texture. There we go. This model is pretty close to done. I finished rigging it over the week because I didn't feel like showing off that rigging setup. And now we're at the point where we can actually texture it. And so when we're texturing this type, or especially anime type models, we gotta add a lot of extra lines that we gotta fill in. Like, for instance, any extra lines that go on. Kramer, why are you texting me like 3 hours after I texted you? Ooh, also we have generic rock on still. Okay, so what makes anime character models look so much cooler is these like lines and details and stuff that make the face have extra like depth to it. And so we're going through today and basically adding that to this model, and on the body we'll be adding, let's see here, it'll be easier to show with one of his references open. We'll be adding like the various details along the top or along the front. And you know, the stuff that we wouldn't necessarily model in because it's not efficient to model that stuff in. Like if we look at his belt, or if we look at his sketch, or the belt that goes across his torso, we didn't model in any of the holes. If we look at the sleeves, we didn't model in any of these little gems that would go on the sleeves. So there's plenty of stuff that we can go through and do now that we're actually at the model or at the texturing stage that we didn't do in the modeling stage because it was inefficient. So we should be, hold on. Every time. I am finding more and more errors with this shoulder, but I swear I'm getting better at rigging shoulder pads. Anywho, for the moment though, my model is a whole different mess. We'll figure that out later. But we're going to go ahead and try and figure out some other stuff for this guy's model, so that way we can have it done soon-ish. But we're going to focus on the face today, because the face has plenty of texturing that we need to do. For one, he has a scar across his eye now that we are going to have to include, or that we are going to be including. I messaged him when I messaged him about this because he wanted to make his character look a little bit more aged up from his reference. He did. I brought up the idea of the scar, and then he was like, "Oh heck yeah, let's go with that." And now he wants. He showed me an idea of what he wanted, at least where it was, and now he whenever I asked him about it and showed him the example, he said, "Hey, can you make it more like Bikins from Guilty Gear?" Not a hard problem, or not a hard thing to fix. That's just retexturing this one set of lines, which we're gonna do in Clip Studio because Blender sucks ass. At least in that regard. But we can already see that I've done some pre-work to make it so it's easier for me to find stuff and work on these textures. So before we do that though, let's get some musics on. Let's see. I was in a mood yesterday, so I had my music turned way up. Let's go with some good old Essinger. We like that. Okay, so what you're looking at right here on screen right now is called a UV map. So a UV map is an interesting thing. Basically, it's what would your model look like if we flattened it out. And not in like a cartoony, hey, let's flatten him like a cartoon flatten way, but like flattened out, like unfolded a paper model kind of way. So, and I just exported these UVs from Blender, so we'll be fine. Let's see. I like the placement of the scar because it's a very solid placement. However, it's a little simple. So we're gonna just make it more defined. And the way we'll do that is we're gonna come over here. And we're basically just gonna draw it like normal. Honestly, yeah. No, calling it a peeled version of the model would be a bit more accurate, yes. Okay. So we're going to just decrease the opacity on that for now. Create a new vector layer underneath it. Well, I didn't want to call it that way, but okay, sure. We're going to create a new vector layer because we're going to use this vector layer as a means of controlling our shape, essentially. I'm going to grab our pen, and this is going to be the outline of our scar. And so what I'm thinking is that the scar needs to be, in general, I think the scar's shape should be something to the tune of that, right? However, we do have to consider the topology of the face and how it works. You know what I kind of think we could probably do in order to save myself some time? What if we basically do that because the pen already has a nice scar shape to it, in my opinion. Where now we just need to like redraw now we just need to sharpen it up a little bit by coming down to our control point. First of all, coming down to our control points, making sure we're going to simplify everything. Maybe simplified it a bit too much. There we go. And that should give us a nice set of curves. And then we'll just do the redraw tool, or we'll use the redraw tool. And we'll just lightly. And then 100 is a bit too much. All right. And then let's see here. There we go. That seems like it'll be a decent scar shape. We can just check that by doing this file, save as, and then save it as PNG. Yes, we're going to replace it. Now, because of how I've saved this image, the hell happened to his hair? We can actually just come in here and reload the image and see that it covers up the correct area. I think we could actually probably go a little bit further down with this scar and maybe a little bit further up on this scar. And so what we might want to do even yeah, there we go. So what we might want to do to make this easier on me in the first place is we'll take it down to just the face. And this is what we can actually use Blender's texture paint tool for. Blocking things out. So we'll just come over here, change it to the skin base. Make sure our object is the selected object. And then go to texture paint mode. And then we're going to work on the skin color. And it's pink right now because it's not looking at the right material. Now, here's one thing. I don't need eyelashes, the eyebrows in the way of this right now. So I'm actually going to go through and hide those. So that way I can draw more directly onto it. And so what we're gonna do now, so we're gonna get a decent little scar shape going here. Using our, let's see here. That's not gonna work, huh? Alt H, E. So we're just gonna have to, or we're gonna have to select. We will have to separate those from the selection. What the hell? One moment. Separate those from the selection. And then just hide that piece. Now we can actually make this work out much. There we go. Edit mode, texture paint. The reason why we go from edit mode straight to texture paint is so that way we can see the UVs on our actual texture editor. So I want this to actually kind of be an older scar. So what I'm going to do in order to make that is we're going to come down here. Instead of using black, we're going to color grab his skin. Make it a bit more saturated and darker. And add a little bit more red to it. And that should make it look a little bit more like a scar as opposed to, you know, like, as opposed to, you know, his face. I just realized I have stabilized stroke on. I don't like stabilized stroke. What the hell is up with this? Spacing. It's like it's not applying the color all in one go like I want it to. And we're gonna actually need to get his regular skin color to act as an eraser here. Because, oh. Let's increase the space, or let's decrease. Oh, I see what's happening. The strength is variable based off of my... Ah, I'm not used to using a pen. At least not for texture painting like this. I'm used to using, like, just my mouse, essentially. And now, one cool thing you'll actually see here as this happens is that it will actually appear over here on the UV editor. And so that's actually not bad. And so you might look at this and be like, well, that's all well and good, but now it's like, how are you going to make this so you can edit it in Clip Studio? And wouldn't you like to know that? That would be why you would ask, yes. And I'm just going to save it externally as a PNG. And then, you know, I'm also going to be able to come over here and do some cleanup with that then. So for example, come over here, grab this, fix that spot right there where I got some color where I didn't want it, and ta-da, look at that. Eyes are white again. God, without eyebrows and without eyelashes, he just looks weird, don't he? I'm actually going to take this opportunity to do something else too. So his ears. Ears are weird, right? Ears are not super detailed, but there are some details in the ears that I do want to highlight. For example, it's very common for, I based this model a bit more off of Dragon Quest, but I was not, and Guilty Gear. So if we look up Akira Toriyama, we can actually see how he draws like ears and stuff on like Dragon Ball Z characters. And it's not a very hard one to find. You just got to get an image of Goku turned sideways, which let's see here. Or this one. That works perfectly fine too. So we can actually come through here and see he actually does a really good job detailing ears. And so what I'm going to do in Blender now is I'm going to take this pen and just sort of do some ear details like that. So that way, whenever you're looking at his ear, and I just realized, so that way, whenever you're looking at his ear from like the side, you can actually see that. Also, hi Ember, how's it going? And then we're gonna kind of, I'm actually gonna do a weird thing right here. I'm gonna take a blue and just start shading. I'm gonna take a blue and start coloring right here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to use it to help me create a shadow mask there. Basically, I'm just blocking out what I need. You haven't been purging Xenos without me, have you, Ember? Or would we just be at the point where it's like the symbols of chaos? And basically, we're going to kind of do that. That would be heretical. That's why I'm asking. You're not a heretic now, are you? Basically, I'm going to do that for all the spots where I kind of want to put shadow on them. That stuff that's like permanently going to be shaded is going to be what we're doing with this blue stuff right here. So that way I don't have to think about it later. Let's see here. It is a very common thing, I think. Yeah, for this under lip area to be shaded blue. Or to be shaded, like permanent, basically perma shaded. And a large portion of this neck, or under neck area, is going to be perma shaded. I don't want that lip to be shaded. It's a funny way of getting, or saying, I want you to, or I want them to step on my balls. Object mode. Yeah, I need this real quick to be bigger. Why is it lagging? Oh, whatever. I can figure this out. I don't understand why it's lagging so bad, though. That's weird. I'm gonna put a little dot of blue here, perma shade there. Benefit of this right here is we're setting up shaded zones, so that way it should look nice and consistent pretty well. So now you can actually take a little bit of this too to also do this. And then, hold on. We're just basically trying to get the style right now. Hold on. If we're looking at this from the front, I think that'll be a decent time. And then we can take, I think we can also take some more of this blue and put it in like right here. To kind of add to that interior detail and make this part seem more raised, essentially. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but Warhammer just does not feel like it's as fun to play whenever you're playing it alone. Which I guess is a good thing if you're supposed to be the game that you're playing with your friends. And then we'll just go ahead and take this here, because this is a weird spot anyway. I feel like that's any game, if I'm being realistic, though. Okay. So we have some stuff roughed out that we're going to take this as an opportunity to fix. Are there any, aside from the eyebrows and eyelashes and all that jazz, which we have already determined are, they're there, they're just turned off at the moment. I have those other lines. What the shit? Every 30 minutes there's going to be an ad break? Alright, no big deal. Anywho, so we save the image. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to come back and hit Control Z. And we're actually just going to delete this layer. Wait, this needs actually to be saved as a clip file. And then I see what'll happen. It's not knowing what to do because it's trying to load up two of the same file. There we go. So now we can use this as like a template to what we were doing. And we can also take this as an opportunity to clean things up. So Control C. And then Control V. And merge down. And so now you might look at this and be like, what the hell is this? What is going on? Now, it's not a bad thing, but we're going to go ahead and try and create a shadow mask. And that's what I was trying to do earlier with all this. Basically, we're going to tell it exactly where we want shadows and what colors we want those shadows to be. And so, if I remember correctly, hold on, I gotta actually remember how I set this up on mine. So, that works. Awesome. So we need an entirely black layer, like so. And then we're gonna create a white layer on top of that. So we're gonna actually just take all this right here, and everywhere we see these blue bits, we're gonna color white. We can turn on our UVs in order to get a bit more accurate. So that way we don't have to worry about anything. And you might be wondering, oh, why is he coloring outside the lines that he has set up for himself? Because that's all this is it's guesswork. We're trying, we're working on it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And also, I'm gonna get rid of these blue spaces anyway. Plus, that'll look much nicer. It'll look much smoother too. And then plus for stuff like this, which is the bottom of the nose, you can actually make sure that the nose gets entirely filled in. That's the lip. I didn't want to color, or I didn't want to shade the lip. Now, if you're looking at this and being like, how the hell does he know what all this is? I unwrapped, or I'm the one who made this, so I just kind of know. And basically all I'm doing is using colors to assign value of stuff. So anywhere you see white, you'll see that will represent like a number value of 1 on this. Because we're going to save this as a different file. It's going to be called a shadow mask. It's going to be super neat. And technically, I think if you make it not white, it'll just make it more likely to be in shadow. And so like it'll shade earlier. So it's an interesting thing to work with. Yeah. That'll reach down a little bit more, but it'll be one continuous curve as opposed to seemingly 2 separate curves. I need to make my eraser bigger. This. I'm realizing I know way more about 3D art than I probably would have gotten if I went to college for it. And I don't know why I ended up doing this, or going about learning 3D art this way, as opposed to like getting a proper education on all that jazz. Let's see here, I want to take this, I just want to clean up that edge. That works. And then I'll blur it a little bit so that way the edges aren't so sharp. It'll be fine. Yeah, like I was talking with Riverface about some stuff because he wanted some input, or my input on a model. He said he'd been using Blender for 10 years, and I'm just sitting here like, really? And you're coming to me? Like, I'm just like, oh, look at that. Okay. So then our last little bit of actual shadow masking stuff, which we're going to actually do this shadow mask. Because labeling is important. Oh my god, I love line tools. So much. Wait, why don't I just do that? Look at that, I'm a smart bean. I know how to use the fill bucket. God, when was the last time I properly used Clip Studio? I don't feel like I've properly drawn in it in a hot minute. Okay. So we've got our spots right here now to make this, to make our shadow mask a bit better, right? Oh, wait, we need to put this spot right here to give us our little chin bubble. And fun fact, so if it's not perfectly symmetrical, that's perfectly fine. We're trying to emulate a 2D style. 2D styles aren't perfect. If you're trying, so having those imperfections actually helps. And then we can actually come down to, or we can turn all that off, come down to our base color. And what was that? Or which part was that? That was the lip, that was the corner of the ear. We don't care about those two. Those got colored on accident. So now we can actually take our normal skin tone and correct everything that was or everything we accidentally made that we don't want colored blue. This is the part of coloring that I like the most. Just kind of being able to go hog wild and color. And then we'll take a moment to sharpen up these lines, like so. And like so. And we're actually going to get rid of these black lines soon enough, so I'm not going to worry too much about cleaning them up, because we're just going to replace them with some much nicer black lines. So now we need another layer to help us determine our shadow color. So our shadow color is an interesting one, because this one is going to be a color that gets multiplied on top of our normal stuff to make it look properly shaded. Now we could be stupid and just use the same color and make it like, that's not actually a terrible shadow, right? It looks nice and natural, but like, I don't like doing that. I like to go with slightly, for warm colors like skin tones, I like to use slightly more red and pinkish colors. That one might be a little bit much, but I'd like where it's at. There we go. So for our skin tones, we're going to color everything using that. Or we're going to shade everything using that. Pretty easy, right? Again, just get to go hog wild. Or we could actually be proper and, use rectangles, which is what I should be doing. And then we're going to turn off our aspect ratio. We're going to need a slightly darker color for this red spot is the inside of the mouth, by the way. So we're going to need a slightly darker color for the inside of the mouth. Actually, weirdly enough, I find blues to make nice shading work on reds. And I wonder if it's got something to do with the contrast that they provide. Like, okay, so there we go. That's our shadow color for the mouth. And here's the fun bit. We can kind of use that exact same shadow color right here for literally everything else that's not, or up here. Good. Then we grab this color. And we'll fix that corner up right there. And right there. And so now we have our shadow color layer. Shadow colors. And so what I can do here is now put that as like a normal layer. And we can hide that. I can now save this, Control-Shift-S. PNG as shadow or face. Shadow color. Now what this is important for is because, see how my face is shaded? We gotta dictate that. We can't just say, oh, use one color for all of it. It'll look bad. Because like if I tell this entire face, hold on. So if I told the entire face to do Control Shift S, and we're gonna save that as the base color. So file, save as Clip Studio. We're gonna save this over here. There's a lot of file mess or juggling essentially for how I do it. I know there are easier methods. Really?
Harry, baby.
I know there are easier methods for setting this stuff up. However, I'm weird. So we're gonna just continue to be weird because I'm a funny little guy. This is how my funny little guy brain does it. Oh, yeah, here's where the example I was gonna talk about. So right now, the shadow color is using this red as a shadow color. Doesn't look bad. It makes the skin look nice and shaded. However, if you look inside the eyes should not be colored that way. They're white. How often do you see white stuff shaded red? You shouldn't see white stuff shaded red often. So we need to come over here, grab this, open up a completely different file. So we're going to grab the shadow face color, and then we drag it over here into the shadow face color. And so now we can see inside of the face, or inside of the eyes are blue where they are shaded. And then just gonna hit S or Control S. And go back to our image editor, image reload. Okay, let's see if I can refix this now. PNG, I just want to resave over the face color. Really? If this message appears several times, select save as in the file. We're just gonna save this out into a different folder, hold on. And then we're gonna pull some stupid. I hate that I have to do this. I shouldn't have to do this. I should be able to do this, and then, then replace. That worked, whatever. If it's stupid, but it works, it ain't stupid. There we go. Now you can see we have the face all cleaned up. It's even got those cleaned up black lines right there, and it looks much nicer already just because. But we don't have our shadow mask. So now we just got to do the exact same thing that we did before. Create Control Shift S, textures, face, shadow. Instead of color, we're going to do mask. Boom. Now we come over here. Shader editor. We're gonna minimize that because I don't need that. And then we're gonna drag this out to a new image texture. Open. Textures, shadow mask. Hey, look at that. You can see much clearer shadows exactly where I decided to put them using the shadow mask. Weird. Next, I'm going to tell you it's all wizardry. And it does actually, in my opinion, it does look much better. Don't worry, it does get better. Because basically everywhere you see one of these yellow bubbles, I can put a texture in there to dictate something about the model. So for example, let's just drag that out. So shadow mask lets me determine where I want to put shadows, right? The specular mask lets me dictate where I want to put shiny shit. The specular pattern lets me put a pattern in so that way whenever it shines, it has an interesting pattern. You might see that on, hold on, there we are. You'll see that like right here on my pistons where I put like a dot pattern in there to try and give it a more comic booky effect. Or same idea with like the shadows on the side of my face, where if you look at them, they're lines, right? That's a shadow pattern that I made. So that way I can actually, so that way I can put lines on my model. Now you don't have to do that, that's entirely extra. And if you're not doing anything with it, you don't have to, you can just put a black or a blank color in there. And for the most part, blank colors will get you 90% of the way. But whenever you want that extra level of control, that's whenever we start doing these masks and or shells and stuff. Anyhoozles, we're gonna start going on with the. We're gonna start trying to fix up the. Yeah, see how this like already lines up much better? I didn't do anything, quit your bitching. Yeah, technically you can also plug in an alpha mask, but so that way like certain parts would be clear and certain parts wouldn't, but like I don't want to do that right now. So, next bit, I want to fix up his scar. Because his scar, while not looking bad, it could be better. It could be better. It could also be more defined. And we'll get to that next. Because the ambient occlusion, or we'll get to that after we clean up the scar a bit. So once the scar is cleaned up, we'll be adding ambient occlusion to this, which we've already done before. It's where you see these black lines. Because those black lines, what they do is they just make it a lot more easy to like put that kind of stuff in there. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to take his scar. We're going to take his scar and his skin. You know what? This might be. So if we're going to use the curve tool to make it a bit we're going to use the curve tool to give it a bit cleaner of an edge. I've actually never used the curve tool, weirdly enough. What the hell? Would explain why I'm struggling with it, huh? Dude, cats are easy to draw. Let's see. What the? It's like it's double tapping. Weird. Oh, whoops. I see what's happening here. I think we're just gonna, you know what, screw this, we're gonna just manhandle this. Yeah, nah, here's the idea. Cats are easy. I know I just said cats are easy to draw, and normally I would fly into a bit about how to draw a cat. But I'm trying to stay on task. There we go. Wait, that's weird. Why am I trying to stay on task? That's not how these streams go. Make sure that ended off in the spot I wanted it. I want the scar to go too far up. You know what? Let's try carving it out. And then fix up the color on the inside of the scar. There we go. That's much cleaner. Nah, I get you. Sometimes you're just not in the drawing headspace, you know? I wanted to draw one of my, okay. So I play D&D with Nikoko T and Hero Strain and our friend Nokon as the DM, right? We play that weekly. And so during our last session, I felt like drawing Nico's character. And I don't think I'll get in trouble for sharing this. She plays a Triton who has been undergoing various mutations because of, you know, story reasons. Don't worry about it. And so let's see if I can find out. Let's go find her. Let's just scroll back through all this all the way to the beginning. Huh. Yeah, sorry about this. I will be scrolling through D&D Discord real quick, so this is going to take me a minute. I'm trying to find a reference picture so you can get an idea of what her character looks like. There it is. Okay. So this is what her character started off looking like, right? Basically a water elf. Nothing bad about that. But over the course of the entire campaign, she's slowly been getting more corrupted by just some evil spirits and shit. And also, a nuclear accident that I caused. Don't worry about it. And so she's becoming more aggressive as a character design. And so I wanted to draw out what I think that more aggressive look was going for. I did try this shit like 4 times. This was bullshit. It takes time. Don't rush yourself if you're trying to draw something. Anywho, yeah, that's one of those things. Sometimes you just gotta hit that right headspace, and then you'll hit that one spot where it'll all just kind of work. So don't try to force it. You'll end up with something you're not happy with. And also, I'm so happy with how that came out. Do you see that hair? That's nice. Frankly, I find coloring to be harder than drawing. But I think that's just because I suck at shading in particular. And like, I suck at shading in general color theory. General color theory? We're gonna test this. So bad. Need a smaller and smaller pen. And it just takes, honestly, understanding what your strengths and weaknesses are as an artist can lead to incredible growth. Knowing that you might, but it takes a lot of self-reflection. Like, you can't just sit there and be like, I guess it's this. That's not gonna mean shit, right? Like, I know shading is one of my weaknesses. And rather than what some people would do, which would be the smart thing, and practice, study, I just decided to adopt a cell shaded style, which makes it easier on my brain. It's not to say I can't at least try every now and then to do something a bit more complicated, but it is one of those things where it's just, it is one of those things where it takes a measure of knowledge. And practice and study and, or, you know, that kind of thing. So that's our shadow mask. This is our shadow color. This is going to be, hi, Tired. How's it going? We are working on texturing this guy. And so far we've gotten a couple of spots in there to make him look not so weird. I know he looks weird right now because he's got his eyebrows and eyelashes turned off. They've been plucked. Ooh. Fun. I haven't played Minecraft in a hot minute. I have a server and I'm paying money for that server. I should go back to playing Minecraft Pokemon at some point. Maybe, or maybe later. Let's see here. Okay, so we finished the scar up and made it look nice and sharp. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this layer and delete that. But we gotta add our ambient occlusion, which we're doing in several spots. Huh. What version of Minecraft are y'all playing? Are y'all playing, what's it called? Shit, why can't I remember what it's called? No, not 1.20. I meant like bucket and that kind of thing. You know? It's weird. Yeah, like we use, I think we use Fabric for ours. Fabric has a pretty solid third-person mode camera. Let's see here. Oh. Hi, Mystic. You don't have to apologize for caps. You were just excited. Because black is such an oppressive color, we're actually going to take this, make that semi-transparent, and then just use it as a guide. How are you doing today, Mystic? And then turn on the UVs. So that way we make sure that these things terminate on the outside of the UVs as opposed to inside like this one does. And this big flare out right here will make it feel like it's a different line weight, and that's perfect. Or that's kind of the aesthetic we want right there. Hold on. Do we? Oh, cool. Pre-rolls are still off for third. Oh. I didn't have to run that 3-minute ad again. It did it on its own? Weird. I wish I could have it set up so that way it would not... I feel like it's running ads an awful lot late. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me know how the ads work. Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. There are probably enough people in stream right now that I can actually do the thing I wanted to do. Go to Twitch. Just to kind of deal with the fact that I'm just now realizing this is probably going to be a bad idea. This is about to be a... hold on.
Double rainbow? What does it mean?
Wait, did it not? Oh, it did. Cool. So I'm going to gift 5 subs just to the community. So that way, you know, people can have some fun times. And hopefully not get ads. You just get to see the, there we go. Let's see here. Mystic Andromeda, I don't know who Super Genesis is. Dude, 4 out of 5 people that I know pretty well. I'm happy about that. Also, thank you, Recoil, for the gifted subs. Oh, you're welcome, Recoil. You deserve it. But yeah, enjoy the gifted subs. That way, use those emotes wherever you can. But yeah, that's just kind of, that is my thank you for putting up with the fact that we're going to have ads now. As well as the cat saving thing going to be the other thing that we're going to do. We're basically going to do everything we can to kind of mitigate the subs. Because we don't like subs here. We like DOMs here. That's a stupid joke. Subs are funny under certain conditions. Let's see here. How many? Oh, that was the right layer. Shotspots. Yeah, you gotta be able to... Subs are funny when you can kind of bully them. But here's the other thing. You don't want to bully them too much. Otherwise, nobody's having fun, right? Nobody likes to be made fun of all the time to that level, right? You got to take care of them. The post making fun of care matters just as much as how you make fun of them. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna simplify this vector line. Just gonna turn it into a line. Then we're gonna take this, straighten it out. And Yeah, so I had to limit. You want to know something? I had to do that limit for the cat save thing, because like of 10 per stream, simply because I had the thought of, hey, subs gain cat or subs gain points. Thank you. There we go, brain. Subs gain points faster. So if in theory you're subscribed to the channel, you're more likely to win cat saver or one of the cat savers of the month, right? And that doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem balanced. That doesn't seem fun. If everybody can save 10 though, saving 10 per stream, as long as you come to stream consistently, isn't unfeasible.
Harry, baby.
See, I'm glad you get it. Don't worry, the monthly cat saver thing isn't starting until October, just to kind of give. I feel like it's already a little late in this month to try and start that shit. So like we kind of gotta get it up there. We gotta work to it, you know? It's just some very bad owners who think that, you know what it is? It's some very bad owners who think that this is what they. When you're saying you want a cat tree in the living room, you mean this type of tree, right? They just like point outside their apartment. All right, let's see here. So now, take this, take that, take this. Aha. Boom. And then boom, boom. There we go. This should. Okay, so there we go. We now have his. We do not have all of his ambient occlusion. I need to put some ambient occlusion on his scar itself. Mostly I want to put a line or an outline on, or mostly I just want to outline it, is the thing. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna create a new raster layer first of all. I'm gonna grab this. We're just gonna kind of trace it. And hopefully that, yeah. I don't really care if I'm off the line there, as long as the line terminates in a special way. Wait a minute. I know why I'm gonna have trouble with this. Hee. Damn, I'm smart. Somebody should give me a degree or something. Oh wait, they did. Because I'm such a smart pants. Boom. 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 Now, here's a question stylistically. So, Akira Toriyama's characters, they have these lines that are right under the eyes that help add to like the definition of it, right? Mostly just to the definition of the face. Should those lines disappear under the scar? Like, would the scar go above those lines or underneath those lines? Also, I'm gonna do a thing that makes my brain happy. Grab this line tool here. And Grab this. I was gonna try and do the Horikoshi thing, where, like, if you look at the scars, or the way Deku's scars are drawn, is that just shading, or is that just shading hash lines? Yeah, but Yamcha's scar is just a little line. Oh, it goes over. You're right. Thank you. That is a good point. Yeah, it goes over. You know what? We'll just... That's not an Akira Toriyama thing. That is a Horikoshi type thing. So I think what we'll do is we'll just leave off those little lines that I wanted to do there. And we'll just kind of call it. Like that.
But all my light puns would have brightened.
And so now, I can now save this as a separate layer, or as a separate image. File, save as. And we're going to call this AO, standing for ambient occlusion. I just don't feel like typing out ambient occlusion. And then we can come over here, take our ambient occlusion, drag it into another image texture. So open up the ambient occlusion texture, like so. And so now you can see where the lines are on his ambient, or on the ambient occlusion. There is actually one thing I need to do to fix that, which is I need to go back through and fix my base color. Control S. First of all, we're going to save this back over the Clip Studio file. And then we're going to hit Control Shift S to try and see if we can save it over the PNG of the base color. Yeah. Didn't think it was going to work. So let's try up here and then doing our file saving shenanigans. Aha. It works. I'm so smart. I know I shouldn't brag about that often, because now I'm going to get into a spot where they just like, no, you're not. And see, look, that looks pretty solid. And then we just got to adjust the eyebrow to kind of fit the new texture. But that's not too hard. I'm actually thinking that we just delete this face. After doing... And part of me wants to come back through and like fix up my UVs around that scar. But I kind of think the jaggedness of it, where the UVs aren't very good, kind of helps sells the look, don't you think? That it's a scar? We're actually missing one set of ambient occlusion now that I think of it. And I don't know how we're going to handle this. Mostly because I don't know where that seam is. Oh, it's on the bottom. Awesome. That makes my life super easy. Because then we just come over here in our ambient occlusion layer, and then we do this. Not a funky ass angle. And this is basically just going to give us a nice little line at the lip to make things look much more meta. I should probably separate the upper lip from the bottom lip, shouldn't I? Because right now this is all the entire lip as a loop, just unrolled like a fruit roll-up. So file, save as. See, why doesn't it let me do that with the face or the base color? Weird. File, save as. Clip Studio. What other eyes do? Wait a minute. I gotta get one of the. I don't know what type of eyes that he needs to have to express. The best I've got in my head is like. Yeah, see? There we go. Look at that. It's subtle. But that's what we want. Subtlety. See, that looks fucking great! Oh my god! I'm so good at this stuff! Let's go! You turn it. Looks good. You look down here at the neck. I didn't even think about the neck. That's how good it was. I winged that. Oh! I love this. See, this is what I love about 3D modeling, when it just kind of works. Anywho, moving on. We don't need anything else here for like his or for his face, I don't think. If he does not get a Yamcha death post emote after this, I'm gonna be kind of pissed. It would be great, right? Anyhoozles. Oh, I just had an idea, or I just had a thought where I set it up so that way the eyebrows are not the same anymore. It might be harder to make the. That's not that bad. That's a problem for future recoil, not a problem for current recoil. Damn, I'm not. Look, man, I'm allowed to gas myself up on this type of stuff sometimes, especially whenever the results are fire. Now, unfortunately for me, that's one piece of the puzzle. We also got to do the hair. Which, the hair, frankly, we can actually get away with a lot. Just due to the fact that, what's up, Dooms? We can actually get away with kind of a lot with the hair just because of because of the coloring. And if I look at this, yeah, let's look in. Oh, biscuits. Okay. So, Guilty Gear had to be a bunch of bastards. And they had to add a shit ton of texturing to the various hairs that you see in here. nose scar. Dude, they're all fun, or they're all good. Here's the thing. Guilty Gear is so... Actually, you want to know something? Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ, because they're both made by Arc Systems, or Arc System Works, was a big inspiration for me while I was starting to learn how to 3D model. So I tried very hard to try and emulate their style. Just because I wanted to figure out how I wanted to look like I could get in. I thought it was a really well done style. And I was just like, how do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do that? I must know. Turns out they do it using very specific geometries, which we've implemented onto Ganban Tian's model. You know, like this type of topology around the mouth, and very specific cuts in order to make things work properly. But like from a texturing standpoint, what they do is actually really, really, really cool and efficient. Basically, they make one texture that has 3 separate color channels, right? And they'll pull information from the 3 separate color channels. So it's just one texture doing the job of like 4. It's super cool. But, and I tried to implement that on my 1.0 model. And I got it to work in Blender. The problem was going to Unity. And that's where we find all our biggest hurdles. Unity. Hold on, that's not, I don't want necessary, and also I don't feel guilty at all for like half the stuff I do. DBZ, dead, eyes. There's a certain look whenever a character dies that their eyes do. And I think you can see it most often trying to... Ah, there we go. All right, you asked for it, Tired. I'm gonna take a break. You know what that means, though? This. Honestly, I do need to use the bathroom, so. Plus, you know. Nah, man, because I'm pretty sure I put that on an hour cooldown. So I'll be right back because I need to use the restroom and you've requested a break. Now, meanwhile, for the people who are subscribed, I'm already back. So that's fun. Now, I'm actually like, that's actually one of those experiments that I wanted to try. So, if I'm having ads on the channel a lot more, I'll wait till the ad break ends actually to explain this one. In the meantime, I'm going to look. I'm still trying to find that look. It's like that look whenever Yamcha dies. Yamcha versus Jiro. And like you see it right after he gets like the hand through the chest. Okay, so actually, Tired, I don't think I gave you too much power there. You know? Honestly, so I have ads turned on so that way pre-roll ads get skipped, right? And so I wanted that redeem to be a thing so that way y'all could control how your ad viewing experience is, you know? I didn't want you guys to be... I basically didn't want it to feel like it was taking control from you. And so I'm actually really happy that you interacted with that. That made that works. And so, now back to this texturing bit. Well, eventually, by the way, that'll be that ad break will be automated. I just didn't think about it, and I kind of wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see how people interacted with it first before I put the effort into it. DBZ. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? As far as like the eyes, whenever like a character gets like they receive like a mortal injury in Dragon Ball Z. It's like for me, it's the one that I would use here. See what I mean? Hey man, as long as that can just be one of those artist things. All right. TMI, my dude, but wait, no, that's a perfect question. Did you win? The brown streak says no. Hold on. Kind of want to change the music up a little. Okay. So now, can we move on to making alternate eyes, which this set of eyes is perfectly fine. You know what? Yeah. I think we need... Hold on. He actually has a design document. I should probably look at that real quick as opposed to just guessing. Because yeah, I think he has certain eyes that he want. There we go. Still bright green in stark contrast to the rest of his outfit with the color scheme. Then the eyes sparks of fire should be visible from time to time, especially when the character's eyes dilate. That's stupid and impossible, but I get the idea of what you want. So you want fire eyes? All right. So he wants fire eyes. Facial expressions, he wants happy, sad, angry, afraid, eating, tired, and hidden. The hell is hidden? What type of expression is hidden? So making this, you can actually, fun fact, in Unity, you can actually set this up to work with GIFs. I don't want to though, because that sounds hard. So what we're going to do here instead is we're going to, let's see here. We're going to take this. Yeah, but that's just down to them acting. Like, oh. Like, that's not a very... Okay. So I think he should have... I personally have like 5 or 6 different eyes that I can use, but typically you're going to only want to use 4. Because then you can get a high level of detail with that, and also do this. So he's going to want these types of eyes where they're determined, and like the pupil gets small, and then you can see a little bit of a fire inside of them. I get that. Sparkly eyes. So you want sparkly eyes. We're going to give him like distressed eyes, and then we're going to give him surprised eyes. Dragon Ball Z does the surprised eyes though with the yeah, and that's kind of what I'm wondering, man. Like, what? It's been a consistent issue I've had in dealing with this model. I find that he is not as he's trying to be descriptive. I understand. He is not doing a very good job of it with like actual words that make sense in an artistic way. That is like one big critique on this. Ooh. 1024, so wait a minute. And like, and that is something that is in fact a difficult skill to convey. Learning how to communicate your art and what you want artistically is way more difficult than you would think. We're gonna merge that down. Control A, Control C, Control V. Like, straight up, you could work... There we go. You could work so hard to try and make it so that way people understand what you want. But it's ultimately going to come down to what does the artist understand? And what are their thoughts and everything? That's it. It's going to be coming down to what the artist understands. And so using clear language helps. However, what you think is clear language might not be clear language to them.
Hail to the king.
Aw. Let's see here. You don't have to think I'm the king. The hell is this layer? let's see here. So one of these we're going to actually remove. Let's see here. This. So we're going to take this eye in the upper right. That's going to be the determined eye. This one is going to be our shocked eye, which doesn't need an iris. And then this one's going to be our dead eye, which also doesn't need an iris. Yeah, and that's very helpful sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can end up with getting both parties even more confused. I want to take this. Take. I don't want freeze transform. I just want scale. Hold on. Determined eye anime. See, here's my problem. When I think determined, I think the iris gets smaller while the I know what to do. This eye, the iris will get smaller. However, there. We're not going to see the fire inside the iris. What we're going to do is we're going to see the fire inside of the. We're going to see pupil herder. We're not going to see the eye or the fire in the iris. We're going to see the fire inside the iris. Son of a bitch! Fire go in color spot, yeah? So we're going to have the fiery eye. The pupils will get small, and then the pupils will get small, and then you'll see the fire in the iris, and it'll look like the bottom part will like make this top part look like it's on fire and even more sparkly. That's what we're gonna do. How's that sound? I swear to God, I know how to word sometimes. All right, so then we take the fill bucket, take this, actually we take the wand, and then we do this, and then we come down here, and then we go over here to the fill bucket, expand this a little so that way, haha, and then haha. Then I kind of want. So whenever characters get surprised in Dragon Ball, surprised DBZ, their irises usually get really small, or their eyes usually get really small and round. And I like the idea that they stay black. And I know this is mostly because Akira Toriyama doesn't draw colored eyes that often. And they just kind of stay the color they are. Don't they? Also, he keeps sending more towards Guilty Gear expressions as opposed to the idea of, yeah, so like this was the other idea, making it look like that, like yeah, I don't know which one. Yeah, so you saved your 10 cats, didn't you? I don't know. That's kind of a good question. I might need to figure out some. That's what the throwables are for. That, or, you know, that. Do you want to know why that redeem exists? It is literally because I'm weird. Whenever I Guilty Gear soul expressions. Haha. It's literally because whenever I'm in other channels and like I'm watching a stream and then I notice I have like 2,568 points. I'm just like, how did I get to 8? I just want to fix that. You could always make me shirtless, yes. Tired is not asking because, you know, he's not asking, he's not reminding you for a specific reason or anything, right? Hmm. You know something? I'm actually really terrible at drawing eyes. See, Reload's got everybody covered. I want to be mad, but I don't think I can be. I have an idea. Let's try this area. Expand. We can expand a couple more pixels. And then I want to come down here and I want to make a gradient. Hmm. Wait a minute. Ah, I see what I need to do here. So we're going to dude, first of all, it's JoJo's. You don't have there's no such thing as too buff for JoJo's. At that point, you're just selling yourself that you're making that's part of the meme. Come on. And then we take this. Hmm.
Unfriggin' believable.
Hmm. Hmm. Ah. That's not what I want. And haha. I think that'd be a good, I think that's a good amount, right? And then, actually, I'm gonna kind of try something. I don't use this brush a ton because I don't know how to use it very well. It's called the Liquify tool. I want to see if I can push. I can push this around. I think I'd have to, yeah, do that. Kind of liked it better that way. Okay, so so far we have two eyes solidly done. I kind of want to now take this eye and add something extra to it to make it a light, just add a little bit of spice to it. Just a little bit of, just a little E. So I think we're going to do this. And now we're just going to do 10. Wrong direction. There we go. So there's this funny little guy, this funny little tool, this funny little thing that we can do where we can put focus lines inside. And I just want to put black focus lines in there. And I want to do ooh, that is very dense. Gap line distance. Basically, I want the opposite of this, and I want it to be very... Actually, that was much better. Hell yeah. Can I now go over here and then hold on. I like that. Hold on. Actually, I kind of liked it better at where it was. The thing I want the lines to be thicker. Just to kind of add some texture to the eye. Yeah, because we're texturing. Haha, yes, you come here for the stupid jokes, right? There we go. Look at that. I think that'll give the eye a nice level of surprise. And it's just, it's a good effect, in my opinion. And then, for this eye, I remember what we said we were going to do. We're going to go over here. We're going to start with this eye as a base. C, Control V. And you can see how messy I got. And then what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take some more yellow and then we're gonna just try to freehand some flames. Actually, I should probably do this on another layer above it. I have been learning lately that with fire and such, less is more. So I think using what I think would make this really yeah. I think that looks all right as far as like flame positionings. And then I want to grab this and kind of mirror that up into here. I think we're going to make this one just slightly more transparent so that way I can more easily see what I'm working on. Fire's an interesting thing to draw. It's basically like trying to draw water. And if you've ever tried to draw water, it's not an easy time. And so now, to make this even more special, I think we need to do a little bit of extra here. Not a ton. Just a little bit, just to like, you know. See what I'm going? You see what I'm shooting for? I think how about we work on those flame colors first, and then we'll move on. I like these colors. These colors are good colors. I have to really thank Moirai for that, honestly. She is the one who told me that if you're doing... She told me this. If you're like making green stuff, highlighting it with yellow makes it just that much pop that much more. I'm so happy that I know Moirai. She is so good at stuff. Color theory. Well, yellow makes things pop, or a lot of different things pop. However, I would have just thought to use like a lime green on a more natural green, you know? There we go. But this just really sells that extra bit, you know? Ooh. Remember, kids, if you have a screen tablet, your screen tablet will not show you everything that your screen will. Just be aware of that. Like this piece right here, I can't see that on my tablet. I have to actually like look up and see that it's not colored in. Learning to separate your eyes from your hands is an incredibly hard skill that you gotta learn if you're trying to do digital art. What a high pain is pleasure. Wait a minute, I'm stupid. I could just her. I have a paint bucket. Just use the paint bucket. It's kind of important to color that teardrop shape piece in manually, but not the rest of it. Nobody said you had to color the rest of it in manually. Who said you had to do that? We're allowed to use tricks. Whoopsie. You know, it'd probably help if I could see where the borders and stuff were. Doesn't matter, I get outside the lines. Because now I can do... What the shit?! It's closed! Are you telling me it's not? Alright, whatever. Easy peasy, we do this now. And then we clean... Now we do some cleanup. Or we can do it here and then do our cleanup on this, which would give us more control. So that's what we're actually going to do. It's been a while since I've done a solid art stream like this. Like I've been doing art streams for the past couple weeks working on this model, but this one feels more heady, you know, more theory based, more, hey, let's talk about how tools work. And I love talking about how tools work. Let's talk about how to create a specific look. Actually, you know what? As much as Riverface from Virus's Discord, or well, from Virus's group, he is also a 3D modeler and animator. And he asked me for my opinion on stuff earlier today. And I liked talking about it because I was like, hey, wait a minute, you know what I mean when I say be aware of your topology? Oh my god. Yes. We can talk about stuff. We can talk about the actual factual things that I know things about. The weird little obsessive things that I've done. Good. We love Tired. Or we love him Tired. Yeah, and so like I felt really, and then he mentioned that he had 10 years of experience. Like I showed him some stuff that I do just normally, and he's like, "Man, I had no idea, and I've been using Blender for 10 years." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I showed you a thing? Hell yeah, let's go." Nah, man. That ain't how it works around here. Get in the car. I mean the trunk of the car. You don't get to sit up front. Come on. Don't be silly. I've been spending too much time around Virus. Sorry. Kidnappings have kidnapping person. The kidnapping program has been downloaded. I was going to clean this spot up right here, but I kind of like how it looks. I like the way it feathers out, and it's probably going to be lost whenever I actually do the thing that makes it look like fire. Yeah, so now we turn our eye borders back on, and you can't really see that. And so now we need to do this other thing. So, we grab our lasso tool. We're just gonna cut and paste to a new layer because I don't want to actually ruin the thing or the yellow layer I made. Yeah. I want to just add to this green layer and then make it work. Is it just me or are these two anti-alias? Hold on. Where's the liquify tool? Blend. I just want to blur these real quick. Is it blurring between multiple layers? Wait a minute. Why don't I just do this? I thought I closed it. And then we just hit filter blur. There. Filter, blur, strong blur. Boom. Easy. Makes it smooth. There we go. That makes my brain much happier. Oakley dokley. Let's continue on with this. We're actually going to do pretty much the exact same thing that we did last time, where we will do we'll close this up, and then magic wand, haha, and then fill bucket. Actually, we'll expand it by 1 in every direction, so that way it fills much. It should fill in a little bit more. Yeah, like that. And so now I should just have my cleanup job is much easier. And so we're going to just take our G pen, do that, clean up that curve, clean up that curve, clean up that curve, do a little bit of eraser here to make it sharper, like so. Uh-oh. I think I screwed that up. I need to go see Transformers 1. Keep seeing really good things about it, and I keep seeing clips for it on TikTok, and I don't like that I keep seeing clips for it on TikTok because it feels like it's going to spoil all the fun parts of it for me. Oh my god. So in my Discord, I don't know how many of y'all pay attention to that Discord, but like sometimes people do. See you later, Voiden. Y'all see the fuck urge, y'all see the friggin' Monster Hunter Transformer that they're doing? I'm so excited for that. I've been trying to buy less Transformers toys because I have too many. Boy, that one is getting added to the collection. Is it because Rathalos, despite being overused, is one of my favorite monsters? Because it's a big red dragon? Yes. Is it because it uses Sword and Shield and I love Sword and Shield? Yes. Oh my god. It is a good time to be a Recoil. Capitalism is really popping off for Recoil now, and I don't know why. I don't dislike it. It just highlights the fact that I am a target demographic of 29-year-old white dude with money. Oh, don't get me wrong. Capitalism is a cancer upon society, and I hate it. It's nice whenever it works for you, though. Come on. Actually, speaking of capitalism working for me, so a game I have, right? 30XX just got an update for DLC. Oh my god, I am too, and I keep seeing the Beast War Megatron, like at Target, and I'm looking at it like, should I pick it up? And I'm like, I don't have the space for it. And also, I'm not sure if I feel like if I was going to go and get a new thing, I'd probably do something else. Also, speaking of capitalism doing things specifically for me, Recoil, who remembers 30XX, the Mega Man X style roguelike platformer? Well, they released a new DLC character where you play as a cat robot. You gotta admit this is cool. Like straight up. I think this is what we're gonna be doing on Monday. Exactly. I don't know what he's supposed to be doing. But he's a little dude he's a little cat robot inside of a little mech suit that also looks like a cat. Anywho, I'm excited to try him out. Also, $5? That's nothing. Come on. For DLC or for an extra character? Shit, dude. I'd pay more to commission myself put in the game. Anywho, so yeah, that's capitalism popping off for recoil. Don't know why. Don't care why. I will take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so fire. So this looks okay, but it can. This looks okay, but it could look better. And so the way we're going to make that look better is we're going to take this layer, duplicate it, and then filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And then we're just going to turn the strength up to like about, we're going to take the strength up to about 29 or 30 perfect. And then we're going to take this layer, or the layer it's on above it, or the layer it's above, and just decrease the opacity on it just a tad. We're going to do the same thing with all of our fire layers, which is going to be like 2, or which is only really 2 layers, but like, you know. So then we're going to duplicate layer, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, 30. And what the Gaussian blur does is it adds that bloom effect that we like on all our glowy bits. We're gonna actually leave. I think we're just gonna leave the light green like that. And then we're gonna do this and layer it down. And then, yeah, look at that. That looks all right. And then we still need to add some white. I still think we need to add something inside the iris, or inside the pupil, to make it look better. Anime determine. Yeah, just something a little. Just a little something. A little sparkle in the eye. A little bit of I'ma shock you up bad. Oh, you know what I kind of like that? I kind of like this. And if we take that, cause she couldn't help me with my mind. Hold on. Why don't we do that with a vector instead, so that way I can kind of control it better. And then I will convert it to a raster, and then, yeah. It's my mind if I can't find something to pacify. And so then we pull this up over here. So that way it can actually pop up over like borders and stuff if it needs to. And then we do. And then we'll just do some slight redrawing here. Using our 2-point brush to make it super sharp at the very ends. Then 30. There we go. How's that look? If we then take this, oops, not like that, rasterize it, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then we blur the ever-loving crap out of that. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, there we go. And I still kind of want to throw something else in there. That seems a little large now that I'm looking at it. I'm so stupid. Hold on, wait, I can do this better. You just gotta make it look like a fire spark. The solution is obvious. Like so. And then we blur this stuff. Then we do the Gaussian blur. Huh? How's that look? I like that. That's a good look. I swear, sometimes I just cook a little too hard. And we do a little bit of cleanup. Boom. And then we file, save as, Eclipse Studio Paint file. And then file, save as, PNG, Gamma I base color. Now here's where we get the real trick coming in here. So if we come over to Blender and we go to UV editing, we now have to look at his eyes. His new green eyes, which we're gonna reload the image on, so that way we have the extra stuff. So there we go. If I did everything correctly, which I should have, I should be able to go over to, if we look in here, the UVs are stuck in the corner. That's not gonna really move. But if I wanted to come over here and do something about it, I can actually, there's an add-in that you can have that lets you do this number right here, right? So what it does is it now lets you choose, you can now select various things. Hold on. 18. There is a specific number that you're supposed to use. It's 19.6. 19. There we go. 19.7. And so now we can see how his eyes look whenever they are on fire, which doesn't look too bad. We can also see how his eyes look when it's 19.7, whenever he's like dead inside. And then we can also see them like whenever they do that. And so then I would use shape keys in order to make like these ones a little bit more rounded. And then like probably make these ones just like smaller, and these ones even also a little bit smaller. But point is, we now have a control too in order to do that. And it all looks good. All right, texturing for this looks pretty solid. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I would say his entire face and head is pretty much done, aside from the fact that I need to texture his hair. That's going to be tedious and boring, so we're not going to show you that. Because it's just literally going to be... I'm going to do something lazy, so that way I can just like... I'm going to do a lazy and efficient thing to add a lot of detail, but only make one texture. I've done it before, and it's a really helpful trick, but it's not very... I wouldn't say it's good. But yeah, I like the way that came out. I will be sending in pictures of that later. Man, the lips really worked out really well for this, didn't they? I love that I can pop off this hard on this stuff. I'll be real. Like, tell me that doesn't look like a character who wouldn't fit into Guilty Gear, just like nice and slotted in. Anywho, moving on. We have the body. The body is going to be a pain. You wanna know why the body's going to be a pain? Because it's not symmetrical for the most part. I have to come over here, and what we're gonna do is I think I need to make I need a new texture that is just the shirt. And so you can see here, I started pulling things apart so that way I could... This is the worst part of UV editing, in my opinion. You have to basically line stuff up, and it just is lame. It's a pain in the ass. And trying to make sure that other stuff is also lined up correctly. Especially whenever it's supposed to be like mirrored. Just doesn't, it's such a pain. But I think that just about does it. And like we have plenty of tools in order to make all this work a lot more easily. And it's not hard per se until you start ending up dealing with this kind of stuff. The big thing here is that because the shirt is asymmetrical, I'm going to have to try. I need to figure out what parts of this design require more detailing and which ones need more attention. And so, for example, I'm not going to probably make the back of the shirt. I could probably actually make the back of the shirt because it's not seen that often. I can probably make it smaller. Same with this armpit piece. Because this armpit piece, or these two armpit pieces right here, they're just gonna be a flat color. I don't need to detail them. This collar, or the whole collar section, can also probably be a flat color. So I don't need to detail them. I might want to come back through and detail the outside though. So we're going to go ahead and just grab this piece, or this collar piece, and just, we'll go ahead and make it just a tad bigger. Although, I am lazy, as I've said. So what we're going to do here is then make it so that way, what we're going to do is we're only going to take half the collar, and then we're going to separate it like so. And then we're going to take this other half of the collar, layer it on top. And so now it takes up less space. I will only have to modify one collar piece. And then, you know, that kind of thing. And because it takes up less space, I can actually make it bigger though. Do-do-do, do-do-do. It's the same. Here's where the real shame in all this is. It's that stupid rounded curve. Why did I have to listen to Super Smash Brothers for this? You know what? I should probably not listen to Super Smash Brothers for a lot of things. I'm just saying, with how many people in the Super Smash Brothers community are, they touch kids, probably not a good idea. I'm just saying, like, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't listen to Smash people all the time, considering the child touchingness of. Oh my god. If he was blown away, or if River was blown away by the fact that I did sharp stuff and hard-bodied surfaces, I wonder how he's gonna feel if he ever sees me use UV squares. Because that shit's wild. Pretty much. That's the joke. But nah, man. It's not, I wouldn't say everybody, but surprisingly a lot of people, like, a lot of people, when it really shouldn't have been a thing. Like, why the hell was that the thing? Huh? Like, I get it, you play video games for like a living, but like, why would you go for a 13-year-old? What about that is attractive? I'm having to do a very stupid thing because I want everything to be on top of each other and perfect. It's really not that hard. Like, okay. Speaking from somebody with a neurospicy brain. Yeah, some stuff gets a little, being normal in general, hard. But I cannot see any level of being neurodivergent where you look at, and actually I can, but that's like supreme other end of the spectrum to where you basically think you are also, you might be like 60, but you also still think like a 13-year-old, and that's like more of a mental handicap than it is anything else. Anywho, beside the point, yeah, don't diddle kids. I think I'm gonna take a hard stance there. Recoil says, just don't. It's always nice to be hugged by someone you like, but if somebody you don't know or like touches you, that's not good. I wish I could do. I made a stupid edit at one point where I pantomimed the Sonic Sat AM bit of that's no good. I think I could have probably done it a lot better, but like if I had actually like remembered it, but I just could not remember the line. And then like if I was reading it from a script, I might not have matched up with the intonations of his like voicing. So it might not have matched the timing. Yeah, it really should not be that hard. Don't diddle kids. Okay, so we're gonna make, because of his top, so because the way his top is structured, aha, where it's got, oh, you motherfucker. I hate that. Why did you put lines on the, Okay, I'm okay with, or I'm over it, I'm over it, it's fine, it's fine. Who said I wasn't? It's fine. It's fine. No, I get it. It's supposed to be paneling, so that way, I just don't like it. Anywho, well, that's not hard to do. Okay, screw you, Ganbantian. You're not getting that red line separated on the collar. It's... Okay, yes, he is. Because I'm... Don't worry, I'll stop coughing up hairballs as soon as I stop seething with, or feeling mild bouts of uncontrolled rage at the asymmetry of this design. There should be an eventually for that, right? Okay. So, y'all have seen how I create textures, and I apply it to all of this. Now, you might be wondering, how do I go about all this and say, ooh, hey, Recoil, what if I want to create one from scratch? Easy peasy. So, go to your shader editor. And then, we're like, oh man, I have nothing here. I don't have even a sketch. I don't even have a texture to start with. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna just create Shift A, S, image. Pick the first one. And we're gonna say, oh, I need a new one. This is a pretty main part of his design, so we're gonna make it a pretty detailed part of 2048. 2048. And call it top underscore base color. Keeping all your stuff. Well, hold on. Gamban. I have not figured out how to properly pronounce his name, and I feel kind of bad about that. I feel like I've been working on this model too long to ask. And then because I'm going to make my life easy on myself, we're going to just go ahead and make it a base color of purple. And then we're going to take this base color and plug it in there. Oh my god, it changed colors. You can totally tell the difference, right? No, that's the idea. But what we can do now, we can do this. I can now say I can now come into here and say, get rid of everything else. His top does not need his skin tone, or his hair, or the gold, or the leather, or the cape. Ooh, it might need the cape back. Oh, wait. Or the gloves, or the detail. I'm saving some of these because I'm using them for other stuff. I'm going to be using them as a color picker, essentially. So I need this red, so we're going to come over here, grab this hex code for this red, go to our texture paint, and then set that as one of the colors for our brush. And we're going to come over here. Aha! Hey, look at that. And then we're going to go back over here, do the exact same thing. We already have our purple. We want our shirt color now. And then we're going to come over here, paste that in here. Now we have our colors. We at least have 3 of our main colors. And so I can come over here into my texture painting and make this super easy on myself. Well, hold on. I actually need to come over here and apply this purple material is no longer going to be called purple. It's going to be called top. With proper capitalization, not a weird capitalization that, oh. There we go. So now we can go back to our texture paint. And so I want the red in specific spots. So first of all, the red is only going to appear on, ooh, I got this backwards. Easy fix. I just literally grab them both and tell it to flip. And then we assign everything else this color. So now his entire shirt is purple, right? That's fine. We want that to happen. And so now what we can do is see how I can quickly and easily paint exactly where I want stuff. And so, but before that, let's fix up his, we're going to add some more detail over here by blocking in the color of his sleeves. As far as I can tell, this should be a pretty solid start for blocking. And honestly, blocking things out like this is a very smart idea. And then we can come over here onto the actual model. Oop, I do not want symmetry on. Where is that? Thank you. There we go. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this even easier on myself. Check this shit. There's a line tool. So if I grab this, make my radius just a bit smaller, so that way, yep. Boom. Boom. See? Look at that. So easy. And then we can just take our line brush and put it back to space, and we'll be good to go. And then we fix up, or we start fixing up where we have some errors here. Like how that didn't capture everything I needed it to capture. And it looks a little funky. It's fine. And then we come over here. This is the risk you run where you do like I do and you make everything super small. Everything you don't need super small. Don't worry, we'll fix up. We can tidy up some of these lines a little bit later, so it's not that big of a deal. If we're mostly just doing the smart artist thing of blocking things out, so that way I can see where stuff maps out on the actual UVs. Like that's what this is mostly exploration right now. And so like I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, grab the right purple color. And I can clean up this line right here on that one edge of the collar and side of the jacket. Makes it nice and clean, right? And eventually I'll add a line down the center so that way it like looks nice and clean. It looks like this was intentional as opposed to, you know, some asshole with a paintbrush. And then, for my own sanity's sake, we're going to do a little bit of that. I like making sure that whenever colors have run over, that they solidly go over the edge. That's it. It's not a big thing. It's not a big deal even. It helps me make sure that these things look better. Because like, oh yeah, it went all the way to the edge of the UV, which is what it was designed to do. Let's see here. Now we can grab this other detail color, Control C, go back to our tool, and Control V. And now we can start putting these, or blocking this color for the corner of, or for the sides of his sleeves. We can actually give this quite a bit of space, and I can actually make this a lot. What we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna move that sleeve piece down a little bit since I have plenty of space for it. And look, for now I have 3 less materials, or well, I have 2 less materials to color the exact same, actually no, yeah, 3 less materials to color the exact same parts of the shirt. And I can get way more detailed. This is the importance of texturing, guys. You really got to be able to do it. It's very helpful. It saves so much. I want to kid about it, but like, I hate texturing because I think I suck at it. But that's just like a personal. That is a personal hang up on mine. But it's so helpful. Oh my god. You can do so much cool shit with it too. You can use it to set normals. You can use it to set how your model reacts to light. It's awesome. I actually need to do. There's supposed to be a better and more easy way to make a line. I don't know how. And then we come over, or we come back down here. We'll do some cleanup. This is actually the most I have used Blender's texture paint tools. They aren't great. Do not get me wrong. I'm not having as bad of a time as I thought I was going to. Especially for blocking out, this ain't bad at all. I can see why this is one of Virus's favorite parts of this whole process. Then he's got these little jemmies doodads studding his sleeve? Okay. Wait a minute, how many spikes does he have? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 all the way down, so. Let's try to get this in correctly. Don't worry, these teeth will get. First of all, how about we do some guiding parts right here. There. I don't like. Yeah, there we go. Because this was going to be a complicated shape for me, and normally the way I do this is a method called UV squares. It's a super efficient method that makes it so that way you have super sharp and crisp lines. It's actually a method that is in fact used by Super Smash Bros. Developers, or by the developers of Super Smash Bros. To make textures smaller. You can actually make significantly smaller textures to have even higher levels of detail, essentially. And so the only problem with that is that you kind of need to be super aware of, it takes a lot of time and you need to set up your UVs very correctly. And so it's just kind of a pain in the ass, and especially for more organic, and it doesn't usually look good on organic shapes in my opinion. So like, unless you have your clothes, like in order to get this stuff properly lined, I had to set up very specific geometry for it. And that's kind of the big thing of it, is you're sacrificing geometry to make your textures look good. Not a bad thing. It's a thing that you should be aware of. So. Let's do that, yeah. Yeah. You know what? The way I have my designs, or the way my shader is set up, I might actually just be set up properly to work inside Blender for texture editing. Huh. And we're gonna Huh? Huh? Okay, I'm putting too much effort into the blocking out phase. We can have a bit of roughness here. Okay. I just want to make sure that the teeth of this is that I don't like that. Something about that doesn't feel right. Well, you know what? That is for Clip Studio Paint to help me figure out. So then we take a stop. And we'll just we can do several things. Yeah? Make it nice and clean. You know, make it nice for the baby. First of all, we're gonna make some rectangles. Because I like the rectangles, they make my brain happy. Funnily enough, these are probably the highest quality textures I've ever actually made. Typically, whenever I make a texture, I try to make it as small as possible. I don't know why. I'm weird. Okay, so let's see if I can. It's fine. We'll fix this in here. We'll fix it in post. I end up with much better lines and stuff in Clip Studio anyway, so. File. Save. And then we come over here. Is this entertaining to watch? I hope it is. I'm trying my best to make it entertaining. It is just, at the end of the day, that is just kind of what we can do, right? Fine, lasso. I didn't think this through. Do. Oh, thank you. It helps whenever I know I always get worried. I'm also, like you say, I'm an entertaining guy. I'm also I'm a hella anxious guy. It's not something I'm happy about. If I'm being real, like, but I get very concerned about very stupid and weird things. Yeah. Like, whether or not anybody's gonna notice that this one pixel right here. Whether somebody was going to notice. Make it go away. Why do we gotta have it? I don't like it. Would actually, I think the UV square method might actually be beneficial here. It would highlight natural curves. One of the reasons that the UV squares does not work properly is because of the way that the mesh is shaped sometimes. And so you have to account for that. But that just means it deforms funny. If I'm okay with it deforming funny, that's fine. Makes it look more natural. Then I have to redo everything. And I don't want to do that. So we're not going to. Wait a minute, I forgot. I came over here to actually export the UVs. Top UVs. Basically, I act like a compiler of stuff. Whenever I compile all this stuff, it's just making it work, you know? Like, I gotta be able to come over here, Control A, Control C, Control V, and now I can see where everything goes. Aha! Yes, I understand. You think I could use a polyline instead? That. I would like a continuous curve, please. Aha, okay, so that's how you use it. That is not gonna do anything here. The death of me. Okay, so, let's try. Let's try doing this. There. And then if I hit enter, we should be done. And then I can take this. And so this curve should be super sharp now. Wait a minute. I have an idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. Let's make this better. 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 We clean it up like so. I can move those spikes to a separate layer and make life easier on myself. Yes. I understand. I have ideas. You know, I like this version of The Distance by Cake because it sounds a little bit like it's that one guitar riff sounds so much like it belongs in Batman Beyond, it's not even funny. Guitar. Aha. Why did I do that? I know why, because I told it to go sharp there. I get it. I didn't know that was a thing it could do. Nifty. So then... What the hell? The entire layer beneath it is filled in, though. Oh, no, it's not. Ah, yes, I see. I'm a dumbass. It's fine. It's fine. We stand the dumbassery around. Okay, so now we're going to use those as... We're going to use these teeth, for lack of a better term, as guides, essentially. So first of all, we're going to take this tooth, and I kind of want to make it shorter, because it's a little too tall. I want to take this tooth and move it up a bit. And then on this layer, we grab our red and we grab our red and we will trace along the we'll trace along here. Aha. I think Blender is one of those, I think actually 3D modeling in general is one of the best art forms that you can learn. Because if you want to do it well, you're going to learn more than one element of art. You're going to learn how to be organized. You're going to learn how to do so much stuff that it just looks, that your models will look really cool by the end of it if you do it well, or if you start doing it well. Like, I need to know how to draw for this step, right? I'm not just sitting here like, I'm not just, ooh, wait a minute, I could use the vector eraser. Yeah, I don't know. I love the vector eraser, but it's kind of, eh. Let's do that. Make it fit 60%. Anywho, point being, you'll learn a lot of different artistic techniques if you're trying to learn 3D modeling. Some that you can use more often than others, like like during texturing. You can use the drawing skills that you learned in texturing so many more places. Some not so much. Some, like UV editing. UV editing is pretty much just for Blender, or just for 3D modeling. Then you also learn stuff like rigging, which is a more technical skill. Actually, it is one of those rig. This.
Hail to the king.
Hi, Moirai. Did you see you got gifted a sub? Wait a minute. did that one go first try? It's going all right. Hold on. You'll see. I think you'll appreciate this. So Ganban Tien, right? We're working on his texturing. That's what we're up to right now. And so I'm currently refining the blocked out texture that I made in Blender in Clip Studio. But I did his head earlier. And I think I did a solid job. You want to see the even cooler part? Check out his eyes. Yeah, hold on, it gets better. Check out the eyes. So he comes with 4 interchangeable eyes. So eye set number 1. Fiery eyes. Yeah. Eye set number 2. This one is going to be like the shocking, like, oh, it's going to be, my equivalent of it is this. And it's got little comic book dash effects in there. And then last but not least, we got the sad/dying eyes. I don't know, I like them. I think they work out really well. And overall, I like the way his eyes turned out, especially, like, I think the fire one's the best one. But I also put the most effort into it, so. I think the scar worked out really well. It's, I think basically all of it's coming out really well. And so now we're working on the body because I was going to model that in and then just color it flatly, but then I'm like, nah, we'll do it normal. We can be normal about it. I'm not looking forward to doing the tabard. Or whatever that capey bit is, or towards the bottom of the outfit is called. But, you know, at least it's symmetrical, so that's fun. Should have been here, or you should have seen it. I was talking some mad game about look at that. That'll be all right. I was talking some mad game about something about learning in Blender. Can't remember what now. I was also talking mad game about just learning stuff in Blender, how it can improve your art abilities overall, just because you start learning so much. Okay, see that first tooth now can be a little bit bigger. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, like, straight up. I know this was just a second ago. Learning how to do stuff, learning how to texture in Blender can help you improve your drawing skills, especially if you start learning how to, like, actually draw at about the same time. I think it helps learn organization. I think it helps learn, wait a minute, I can just, son of a bitch. Why is my fill refer only to editing layer? Yeah. Well, that's why my process was texture a little bit in Blender, so that way you can block it out, right? And so like I got the initial shape of these spikes in Blender, but then I came over to Clip Studio and I'm starting to oh, my tolerance is so high. That's why. And now I'm going to be able to do this. And so then if we do this, set that, and then Control S. First of all, we're going to go and save this as a Clip Studio. It's really helpful. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we don't need that. Control Shift S. And then save it as a PNG for this, to this, to this. And come over here. Remind modeling. Oh yeah, we don't need that anymore. So then we come over to Texture Paint, and then we hit Image, Reload, and it's a bit cleaner. I'm not the most proud of it. I almost feel like I should model it. You know what it is? I think it's got to do with like this fall off percentage. And like, I think whenever you start using all the tools you have at your disposal, that's whenever it starts getting like real good, you know? Also, I think the way my shader is set up, it's basically already working in layers. So like, that's the other thing I don't think I struggle with that as bad as most people. I wish you could rotate in Blender, like in Clip. That's about my big complaint for this right now, is that I'm basically rotating my entire head. Oh man, what you got on your missions? What questions you got? I might be able to help with that. Yeah, we're gonna just trust the process on this one. Because if we come over here and we turn on all of our accessories, how much of that is actually gonna be seen? Not as much as you'd think. So you won't be able to see how uneven some stuff is. We'll be fine, it'll be fine. Fair enough. Well, we're probably gonna wrap up stream in a little bit. Because it's 7:16 and I wanna go get dinner. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think it looks so good. That looks so good. I know. Don't worry. I'll leave you in the capable hands of another artist. And like that's the entire point of this whole thing is that I'm going to end up doing a bunch of stuff off stream. Yeah. But unlike your dad, at least you guys know I'll come back with the milk. That was mean. And on that note, like I said, I may always abandon you, but Tyler, that's so sad. Little too real there, bud. But we don't. I mean, if you're fine to joke about it, then that's fine. It is always kind of fun to pull out the like dead relative. Hey, coach. Oh, you missed it. I don't know how long you've been in here, but actually, no, I can do this. Wait, I'm the stream master. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And come back over here and be like, yeah, we basically colored in this guy's face and made it look properly anime. John, dude, he is basically John anime. He's going from Dragon Quest styled to Guilty Gear styled now. And so we're trying to make that fit, or we're trying to fit that in for him. I'm probably gonna have to do some stuff with the like normals on the inside of the eyes eventually, but like I don't want to do that right now. But it is what it is. Anywho, yeah, so like we basically did all of that, almost all of the face stuff pretty much today. I blocked out some stuff yesterday, but I think he looks pretty good. And we were just about to sign off because I want foods, and foods are good. We like food. And so, as you know, at the end of stream, wait a minute, wait. I need to check something. Can y'all not save cats anymore? I thought I set that up so that way it was 10 per person. Yeah, help me debug real quick. This... Oh, I screwed up! Let's see if I can fix that real quick. I want that, because I need that to work properly in order to do the thing that I want to do. Kitty. Edit. Ah, that's her. That needs to be that. And then, yeah, there we go. I might add a time restriction later. No, try now. You might need to reset, or you might need to refresh the screen.
Harry baby.
Yeah, see, look, I can save one.
Harry baby.
Yeah, now everybody should be able to save up to 10 cats per stream. That's what we wanted. Heck yeah. Because, like, straight up, the eventual bit is going to be the eventual bit is going to be that you guys are going to be seeing who could save the most cats in a month for a chance to get a subscription for free. Anyway, that's my goal. I think I didn't realize y'all were gonna open the floodgates whenever I changed that over. Yeah, that's fine. That's the fun of it. Hey, y'all saved 19 cats. That's much better than what I thought. Awesome. I knew Voiden said it earlier, and I did not understand what he said. Okay, cool. Anyway, y'all saved 19. I'll save 10. Anybody could save one more to make it look good, that'd be great. Thank you, Reload. Can always count on you to make it a nice, even number. Cat number 1. It's a buff cat. Look how fluffy it is. I would just like, I'd get my face claw to rub that belly. Cat number 2. Oh, see, look. Even this guy is surprised by how fluffy she is. Cat number 3. The champion. This is who you have to fight at the end of every martial arts tournament. He is undefeated. That's a lie. There was one person who beat him. It was Chuck Norris. Cat number 4. I don't know which one this is, but I know it's a Yu-Gi-Oh cat. Cat number 5. Oh, he is pissed. I like how we have like the 2 expressions of Orange Cat right here of super happy and super not. I feel like that's just cats in general though. Cat number 6. I'm sorry, bud. We have a poly count requirement, and unfortunately you don't meet it. So we're just gonna have to ask you to stand over there. Cat number 7. Yo, he's off to, he's off to protect. He's prepared. He is so gallant. So little. Why did Yokai Watch go with so many cats? I feel like there's at least like 4 or 5 of them. I didn't think there were that many cat yokai in Japan. Cat number 8. Oh. We're just making a There are? Huh. We're just making a pyramid of weird orange cats today, aren't we? Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's like asking why do they make so many Pokemon look like Pikachu. Cat number 9. Hey, it's Ikori! Moirai, come get your child. They seem to have turned into a fox, or a cat instead of a fox. And also 2D instead of 3D. Anywho, last but not least, cat number 10. Oh, right, Nico. I forgot. You know what? Fair. Anyway, last but not least, cat number 10. He's a little tall. I love... Okay. Moira, you made this one, right? I love the extra effort you went through to make him even taller. Like, that's just, like, normal Meowth, or normal, extra tall Meowth, funny. Extra tall Meowth. Extra funny. But, like, he constantly comes off screen, no matter where he is. Until you make him, like, super weirdly small. And that's not fair to him. Also, I have to, like, move out of the way of him. Takes up so much space. The life of a tall child. Anywho. Are none of the people I follow on? If that's the case, anybody? You know what? I don't think I've ever gotten a chance to raid him. I would like to raid, but his stream's been going on for almost 3 hours. Never mind. Shock it. Why not? It'll be fun. He's playing Space Engineers. We're gonna raid Stren, who's an adventurer VTuber. So, treat him good. And until next time, keep being heroic and have a great rest of your night. Peace. Also, if you're My bad. Actually, wait. Rating on the ad break makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?